If you've been stuck in your head trying to figure out your next move but feel disconnected from yourself, don't worry, because there is literally a higher intelligence guiding you right now. One that doesn't speak through overthinking but synchronicities. And synchronicities are clues that are coming from your highest self, or the God mind, the most intelligent part of this entire experience, let's just say. It's letting you know the exact path you need to take to become your best and most authentic self. But these synchronicities don't just come in angel numbers like most people think. When you begin to notice and follow these synchronicities in your life, you'll start to magnetize what's actually meant for you and stop chasing the wrong things. In this video, I'm going to show you the power of synchronicities and exactly how to use them so you can actually pursue the path that is meant for you. Alright, let's get into it. So what are synchronicities? Synchronicities are messages from your higher self, because your higher self, the God mind, and I like to personally call it God, it is a quantum being. It is one with you as well. So you, my friend, are literally connected to the higher mind. But these messages are coming as a way to let you know all the different potentials that you have in the quantum field, because you have an infinite potential, literally. Okay, there's so many different paths that you can take with your life, and synchronicities let you know paths that are aligned with who you really are. And they're not just angel numbers like people think. Yes, angel numbers are synchronicities to some degree, but there's just so many other types of synchronicities that you can have. And the more that you follow synchronicities, it's like, for example, a light that lights up in a path, right? The more that you go down the path, the more that the lights go up, showing you more of the path. So it's kind of like a domino effect. The moment that you start to follow them, you will start to uncover the path. And the thing is that most high-performing women don't notice synchronicities, because when you are really in a masculine energy, you are in your mind, okay? You're in your mind and you become distracted because you try to make logic out of things. And with synchronicities, you can't really decipher them with logic. This super conscious mind that is like the higher intelligence inside of you, or the God self, is directly connected to your subconscious mind, okay? And your subconscious mind is the one that is actively creating your reality. So these synchronicities can easily let you know the things that you need to shed in your life, the limiting beliefs that you need to also shed, the path to take, etc. And they can come in so many different forms, like events, like people, like animals, like situations, disruption feelings, not just numbers. And let's go back to interpreting them with logic, because that just doesn't happen. You have to almost spiritually interpret them in a sense, because it's not something that you decipher and you're like, oh my god, well, I need to do this and this and this. It's not like that. It's more of like this resonance that you have through your intuition. The more that you follow and notice synchronicities is the more that you are going to be able to strengthen your intuition. There's this quote that I really like, and I'm going to summarize it because I don't remember exactly what it was, but it says, you phone God through your prayer, but God phones you through your intuition. And when you start to notice more synchronicities, it is strengthening that intuitive part of you. You start to notice the messages that are coming from that godly aspect of you that is letting you know exactly what direction to take or what to do. Carl Jung believes that synchronicities were manifestations from a higher order in the universe rather than coincidences. And I agree completely, because at the end of the day, everything is happening for a reason, okay? Everything is happening with a divine reasoning right behind it that humans just don't understand, because we are immersed in the experience rather than, you know, that higher mind that is actively co-creating this entire experience. And when you see synchronicities, you begin to start understanding the reasoning behind the events that are happening, in a sense. So you kind of have a peek at the God mind. So you have a better idea of how synchronicities work. Let me tell you something that happened to my dad, because my dad also works a lot with the spiritual. So my dad was like having ideas of starting a furniture company, right? And he was like, where am I gonna get furniture? Because I've gone to all these different places where they have wood and it's so expensive. It's actually really expensive, and I don't even have the machinery for it. So he ended up going to his girlfriend's house, very far away from where he lives. And somehow, some way, randomly, his girlfriend's dad tells him that down the street there's this woman who is just selling her wood for extremely cheap because she just wants to get rid of it. So he was like, no way, and he went to go buy it. So he bought it. He bought a bunch of wood back with him, and then he's like, what am I gonna do with this wood though? Because, you know, I don't really have machinery to even cut it. And then he looked online and the machinery was thousands of dollars. He was like, right now I can't really afford it. What happened? So a couple days later, he went to the airport because he was coming to see me, and he got this magazine that was like super random, and he opened the magazine and the literal first page is how to make the machine that cuts would. That is crazy. So he's like, okay, like this is literally telling me exactly what to do, and it's really cheap. Like, I can get all of these things and I can make the machine myself. So obviously he followed the synchronicity, because the first synchronicity was him even finding the wood at such a cheap price, and the second synchronicity was him getting that sign of the universe on how to build that machinery. So the universe was clearly telling him, hey dude, start a wood company, start a furniture company. And he synchronized. He was like, okay God, I am gonna start a furniture company. But the moment he got back to Miami, he was out in his backyard building the machine, and then he was out there cutting it, and now he's starting a furniture company. That's crazy, okay? And you can use synchronicity for so many different things. You ask and you shall receive. If you phone to God, God is gonna phone to you through synchronicities. And the moment that you become aware, you can start to notice what to do. You start to understand the divine order behind everything, and you only magnetize what is meant for you, what is meant for your soul, what is going to fulfill you to the core. But this is the thing, synchronicities all happen in the present moment. Why? Because the present moment is right now being created by your subconscious mind, and synchronicities are coming from your higher mind, but your higher mind and subconscious one are one. So you need to notice your patterns in the present moment. And the thing that distracts you from these patterns is your conscious mind, that 5%, which is super, super, super important. But when it comes to seeing synchronicities, that actually gets in the way, because your conscious mind cannot exist in the present moment. It only exists in the past or in the future. It never exists in the present moment. Only the subconscious mind exists in the present moment. Okay? So when you notice synchronicities, they're all always going to be in the present moment, and you need to shut down the mind. So the reason that most people miss synchronicities is because they are so distracted. They are always either scrolling on the phone, they're talking to people, they are in their minds thinking about the past or the future, right? Because once again, the conscious mind doesn't exist in the present moment. So there's no way you can be present if you are in the mind. So it's really important for you to start slowing down and noticing your reality more, noticing life more, starting to see the little things, the little details that create your entire experience, instead of being so either in your mind or distracted by external things. So how do you align and use synchronicities? Of course, the first one is to quiet the mind. I created this method called the hyper-awareness strategy, which I use with my clients all the time, because I work deeply with women in order to help them align with the God mind. And the most important thing is to even notice the God mind, which is active all the time. So part of my hyper-awareness strategy has everything to do with, obviously, awareness, right? Being able to be still, being able to quiet the mind. Or rather than quiet the mind, I would say observe it. Observe the mind. Because when you're observing the mind, you're not engaging with the mind. Therefore, you're not stuck in the mind, and you can observe also the present moment. So a really good practice that you can do is actually sit down and start to notice your thoughts. Be more present inside the tip of your finger, right? Use the tip of your finger in order to anchor yourself in the present moment. The more that you start to focus on being inside your body, on being more present in your body, you will start to become more present with the present moment, right? With the experience here in the physical realm. So using your breath 5 minutes a day. If you want to start off, you can do 15, right? I started off with timing myself 15 minutes per day. I would put the timer, and for those 15 minutes, I would just breathe in, breathe out, and focus on tuning into my body, right? Like feeling my fingers, feeling my toes, feeling my feet, and then going up and starting to feel my legs, my thighs, my torso, whatever, right? And using my breath and observing whenever my mind would go into like a thought and into like a whole other visual, I would bring it back, and I would just, focus again on my body, focus again on my breath. And I wouldn't try to shut down my thoughts, because that is going to be impossible for you. You observe them. So if you have thoughts, instead of going with them, you observe them, and then they pass, because that's what happens when thoughts are present. They are present, and if you put your energy, they grow. If you don't, if you stay present, they leave. Okay, this is what you need to work on, the act of observation, because when you begin to observe, you can begin to notice. So obviously number 2 is be in the present, which you do thanks to becoming more aware. Now, awareness is not something that you need to do through meditation, only something that you do throughout your day. For example, whenever I'm working, I do that same awareness meditation, but as I'm working, I feel the energy I'm putting into my laptop. I feel like I tune into the present moment through being more in tune with my body and being present inside my body, using my breath to connect more with the activity that I'm doing. Just be more present, because when you're more present, you're going to be able to notice more. So once you start to kind of like get better at awareness through meditation, you can start to do it throughout your day. Like calling back your energy. This is what I always do. Call back your energy through a breath. Like if you feel like your mind is going everywhere, call back your energy. The moment you observe that your mind is going off into a whole story, you bring it back through your awareness, through your breath. Number 3, stop dismissing signs as coincidences. This is so important because synchronicities often happen quite a lot around you. When a synchronicity happens and you don't really notice them or you dismiss it as coincidence, that door shuts, and that's okay. You know, I'm sure I've had a lot of door shuts in my life as well. Everybody shuts doors that are opening them or opening, you know, for opportunities, and they don't notice it, and then it shuts and then goes away. Maybe it gets brought up later on in life, maybe it doesn't, right? But the thing is that you need to stop dismissing things as coincidences, because when you do that, you give it rationality, and that's when you turn off your ability to be intuitive. You cannot be intuitive if you're being rational. You cannot be intuitive if you're being logical. Everything comes together for a reason. And when you dismiss synchronicities, you stop seeing them, okay? That's when you start to shut off and go more in the rational. Start to find the magic, the mystical in life again. Begin to see the magic that is letting you know what is going on. So the more that you notice synchronicities and the more that you give them credit, the more that they're going to appear for you, and the more that they're going to light up the path that you're meant to go down. So stop dismissing them as coincidences. Number 4 is let go of control. A lot of you guys are not gonna like this one, but synchronicities lead you to a path of alignment. And if you're not aligned, it's gonna make sure that you know. So for example, I had a client who came to me and she's like, well, I want to be a writer. I want to do all these different passion projects. I'm pretty good at it, but I haven't had the time to do it. And every single time I sit down, I feel like I have no creativity because I'm always in that work space. I'm always in that control mode. And I was like, okay, well, ask God to align you. And when I say God, by the way, I mean like the higher mind. I don't mean like a man in the sky. I'm not Christian myself. I am more of like, you know, believer of the oneness. But the thing is that I told her, okay, well, start to align and start to ask for alignment. And what happened? She lost her job. Oh my God, that is usually like horrible for people, right? Oh my God, she lost her job. She had rent due and she had no position. And she's like, I literally just lost my job, okay? And I was like, it's okay. It's part of the plan. It's part of the process. And she aligned with that. She was like, okay, I have faith. I believe, right, that this is just part. She let go of that control. She let go of that fear of like, I need money right now. What happened? She got a better position at a very fun job, okay? On top of that, the job gave her the proper time for her to focus on herself. The job didn't burn her out to the point where she was forgetting herself like her last job. Tell me that's not alignment, okay? So that's the thing about synchronicities. It's like, if you're gonna use them, be prepared to let go of what's not meant for you. Let go of control. If you're somebody who's been controlling a lot, especially if you're a high-performing woman, which obviously my page is for, so I'm speaking to you. Especially if you're somebody who's been in control, who's been really in the masculine energy, who's been in overdrive, you need to let go. Because when it comes to working with the universe, working with the divine, working with the feminine energy, you're gonna be aligned and you need to let go. You need to surrender. Because when you surrender, the things that are meant for you are gonna come. I promise you. And they're gonna come quicker than when you think they are gonna come. Remember that. The more that you resist, the more that you delay your progress. Which leads me to number 5, and that's have faith in your higher self. Have faith in the God mind. The God mind knows more than you. The God mind knows more than anybody here. Any person that you know. So you need to understand that only the God mind knows what's best for you. Even you may not know what's best for you because you have an ego. Okay, that is actually not blocking you from the God mind, but when it goes in overdrive, definitely is gonna confuse you quite a lot. So think of it like this. If you're inside a forest and the forest is filled with trees and you're like, man, I'm lost right now. And there's a bird above the forest who's like, dude, if you just keep walking, like you're gonna be able to find your way out, because the bird has the bird's eye point of view. It can see that you're gonna get out the forest, but you can't. If you continue to be in that headspace, instead of just trusting your higher mind to take you out of the process or take you out of the situation that you're in, if you stay in that fearful state, you're never gonna get out the forest, okay? So the more that you have faith in your higher self, the more that you start to have miracles happen in your life, literally, because your God mind is the most intelligent aspect of this entire experience. It is the infinite supply. It is the one that is in control of reality right now. You can shift your reality at immense levels if you simply just listen to yourself. Listen to your God mind, because your God mind knows the way. You don't. I'm gonna be honest, right? You are one with your God mind. Yes. but you don't know the way. Your God mind does. And when you do figure out the way, it's because you had it. You got it from your God mind, okay? So let go and have faith. Okay, now let's talk about what to not do with synchronicities. The first one is to not obsessively try to decode or control the signs. Synchronicities happen when they're meant to happen, period. You cannot make another synchronicity happen, and you definitely cannot decode them. Once again, this is coming from a very higher aspect of you. You're not gonna know what it's actually saying. So when you see a synchronicity, you're meant to synchronize. That's it. You just synchronize. You're gonna have a knowing inside of exactly what to do and what that means. Do not try to further decode it. Do not try to further understand it, because you're never gonna understand it, okay? You're inside a human body after all, and that's the truth. We have a limited understanding on what the spiritual is providing for us and what the spiritual is in general. Very limited, okay? We don't even know like 1% of it. So what happens when you try to decode it is that you can drive yourself to delusion. A lot of people have started to have synchronicities in their life, and they try to like look for the other sign, and they try to connect the dots, and where does that lead you? That leads you to spiritual psychosis. Don't do that. You see a synchronicity, you synchronize, you let it go. Another thing is that the message is always felt and not understood. You're gonna know inside what to do. Even if you see a synchronicity and you're like, I don't know what the hell this means, you're still gonna know inside. Why? Because your mind is not gonna know, but your energetic body definitely knows what that synchronicity meant. You saw it, so energetically it impacted you. A part of you knows exactly what to do, and it's just about time that you subconsciously play it out in your life. Do not worry if you don't understand what the synchronicity says. Your energetic body does, because your energetic body is not limited by your mind. So let go of trying to rationalize things, and you will see it more. Synchronicities are so important because they literally lead you to your soul's highest desires. And I say your soul's because if you're functioning from the ego right now, you don't want to work with synchronicities. If you're scared to let go of functioning from your ego, I mean, of course. Because if you are actually synchronized with your soul, everything's gonna go good. But if you're synchronized with your ego, man, be prepared for some tower moments, because synchronicities will do that for you. But it's super important to work with them if you're somebody who's very much looking to align with their highest purpose, with themselves, with their true potential in this life, to attract wealth, abundance, to be a magnet to their wildest desires and a reality creator. Like, you need to work with synchronicities. It's one of the biggest things that you must work with, because they will lead you to where you can make the highest impact. And where you do make the highest impact is where you also do reach your highest potential, because the truth is that oneness is the truth, and synchronicities are aligned to that truth of oneness, because they're coming straight from your higher self, and that higher self is connected to the collective. Okay, so synchronicities are always going to lead you to the path where you actually do reach your potential, but at the same time you're actually making the biggest impact. You're going to be able to use your talents, your unique gifts, what you really came here to do, to impact the whole, to help people, and that's where it's going to lead you. So be prepared for that if you're looking to actually do that. And if you're functioning from the ego, like me, self-service, and that's it, right? You need to have a balance between both. It's not going to lead you where you currently want to, but I promise you that if you simply follow it and you let go of what you think you want for yourself, you're gonna see that it's gonna lead you exactly where you're meant to be and where you are the most fulfilled. If you're a woman who's ready to stop forcing and start aligning with divine guidance, with the God mind, with your highest potential, my page is for you, so make sure to subscribe. And below I have a free training on how to co-create with the quantum field and start to magnetize a life that is truly meant for you, so go check it out. My name is Ira Morphy. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.